So, I look like a hot mess. However, I have had to realize that I can't keep using looking like a hot mess as an excuse to not do the things that I know I need to do. Case in point, I started a YouTube channel. I started this YouTube channel a long time ago, at least 3 years ago. I've been uploading sporadically. I need to do better at uploading. A part of the issue is that I couldn't figure out what I wanted to create content about. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to make videos about, like the angle that I wanted to take, the perspective. And now I realize that that's not an excuse. I can't use that as an excuse. I can't continue to use it as an excuse. So we're creating YouTube content. Do I know what the thread is going to be? No. Do I have things that do I have ideas? Yes. So let me tell you about my ideas. So I saw a TikTok video by, I think her name is Justine. Her account's Justine's Camera Roll. I don't really follow her, but I saw a video come across my FYP, and she talked about creating videos that you would actually like to watch. And the question that she asks is, what kinds of videos do you actually watch? And the kinds of videos that I watch are, I thought it was vlogs, but it's really not vlogs, because I only really watch one creator that does vlogs, but her vlogs are not necessarily come with me to live my life or come watch me live my life, but it is. Her vlogs are more around her living her life as she pursues these crazy goals, right? So the creator that I am talking about, her name is Sunday Love. Love her. She's living in Japan. I think she may be transitioning between Japan and the US now, because she's from the US, but she has lived in Japan for years. She has some real estate properties in Japan. So a part of her channel was the whole process of her buying the property, renovating the property, putting it up on rental, her traveling across Japan, and ultimately living her dream life, right? Like before she got into real estate, she had launched a clothing brand called Mood Global. And so she documented the whole process of that, of designing her designs. Like every time she does a drop, she gives some behind the scenes. Anyway, the point is, I like watching that type of content, not necessarily vlogs for the sake of vlogs, but vlogs that show a progression of goals being achieved. And I enjoy that. And so I figured that should also be the type of content that I create, because I do have goals that I need to achieve, right? I'm currently visiting my sister out of the country, but when I get home, there are things that I need to do, right? I would love to move out. I would love to, well, the first thing that I need to do is I need to license and service my car, because the license expired this same month that I traveled, and I would have been away for 2 full months. I was like, I don't need to try and license this right now. Also, I was tight on funds. So like there's that, right? So there's the everyday things that need to get done. But I'm also writing a musical, right? I'm also, the universe that the musical takes place in is itself a creative property, and I'm developing that, right? I need to work on copywriting and trademarking and that whole process of bringing this thing to life. So there's that, right? I also, like, there are other books that I want to write, like, right? So there are some novels that I have in process, and so I also need to document the journey of writing those novels. So I have things that I need to be documenting. I've just not been documenting, partially because I haven't been doing a ton of work, or what I think is a ton of work. A part of my issue is that what I have been doing is really just me sitting down to the laptop typing, right? And I struggle with how to articulate that in a way that makes sense for the visual nature of YouTube. Okay, I have to check the stove real quick. So what I have to, I was saying that what I've been working on has really just been a lot of screen work, and so I've been trying to figure out, I haven't been trying to figure out, what I need to figure out is how to articulate the screen work that I've been doing, and then how to talk about it even though it's not yet copywritten, because that has been a huge chunk of my mental process, right? Like the idea of not wanting to discuss the universe and the I'm going to use the correct terminology, not wanting to discuss the creative property that has not yet been legally secured. And so I need to solidify myself on the fact that it is already copywritten because I've defined so much of it. And so for that reason, I can talk about it and figure out how do I bring it up? How do I talk about the elements of, like, one thing that I'm struggling with is I'm in the final, I'm saying final because I've rewritten this thing no less than 6 times. And not completely rewritten, like rewritten major chunks of this script for the musical. And so I don't want to rewrite it again. I have the plot in a really good place. The struggle that I'm having now is songs. I've written most of the songs for this musical. A lot of the rewrites had to do with taking out or rearranging songs. And so I have songs that were in the original version, that first brain dump that I got from God, because I do believe that this is a God-given project. When I first had the idea for this musical, I got characters, I got a general storyline, I got songs. Like, I think I wrote somewhere between like seven to, I think the original version had like 12 songs. 12 or like 13 songs. Some of them have survived to this version. Some of them I have taken out. Some of them have been reworked. But there are a couple of songs that I've always had notations for that I've never actually gotten around to writing. And there are new songs that need to be written, and my brain is like, it's a struggle, it's a challenge. So that's one thing that needs to be done, right? So the script needs to be done, songs need to be written, and then on the trademarking side, like, I need to figure out how I'm going to visually represent these characters, because I'm not an artist and I don't want to use AI for this. So I need to go through a process of finding an artist to commission character representations. And I did this process around, this was in 2018 when I thought that I was going to produce and launch this project at the end of that year. So I had worked with a local artist to draft character renderings, and I think I still have those original sketches. They weren't 100% what I wanted, because again, that was that artist's first time taking a commission that was not in their style, and so I need to go through that process again. But before I do that, then I need to really drill down and nail down what I want these characters to look like. I have Pinterest boards for them, but actually translating those Pinterest boards into actual character appearances is a process that I'm gonna have to go through. So that could be another series, right? So what I'm realizing is, not what I'm realizing is, what is being affirmed to me is that I have multiple things that I could be creating. A part of me, it's just like, is this going to be something that people are interested in? And a part of me is also like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't like not knowing what I'm doing. I don't like not having a blueprint to follow. This following God thing, let me tell you something. When you're really being obedient, I'm learning that you don't need to know what's happening. You would like to know what we're actually doing, what's happening, what you should be doing. You know, you would like some direction. But really, like, I understand on a new level why Abraham going to the land that he knew not of by following God's instruction, why that required faith. I'm understanding on a new level why the characters that we know in the Bible, the great bulwarks of faith, why their life needed so much faith, and why they are known for their faith. Because not knowing what you're supposed to be doing and then following this unseen God who is giving you step-by-step instructions, but not all at once. I would love to have all my instructions at once, or like all of the instructions for a particular stage all at once. But no, I got write the musical, create content. There are 75 billion different ways that I can take that. That one instruction with two prongs. 75 bajillion ways. And that's all you give me. And every time I go back to him, it's just write the musical, create content. And I'm like, sir, it would not kill you again to give me just a third, like a sub point underneath that for any kind of direction. Create content about what exactly? So figuring it out. Also, let me correct myself. There was a sub point. There was a sub point of also, I feel, and this one I'm not 100% sure on, right? And I think a part of it is that a large part of me does not want to go back into it. So I feel like another part of the instruction that he's given me recently is to go back into business. And I'm very resistant. And I tell you why. I was in a very burnt out position. I finally shut my business down at the end of 2022, right? The whole process since then has just been me healing, me remembering how to breathe, detaching my worth from the idea of work and my ability to produce outcomes for other people. Also toting cut hip around the ideas of pricing and systems and stewardship is what it really is, right? And the way that God showed me over and over again how I was stewarding what he had given me very, very, very poorly. And a part of the reason that I burnt out so badly was the poor stewardship, right? And so with this, I feel like there's this instruction, because it hasn't gone away. And that's one of the ways that I know that it's an instruction from God and it's not from me, because I can get distracted. I could very easily change my mind. I'm trying to change my mind and it's not changing. So I'm believing that it's either an instruction for him or I'm being deceived and he's going to instruct me otherwise. I feel like I'm being instructed to go back into business. I burnt out very badly. And so I feel like a large part of my brain, my body, my soul is resistant to the idea of going back into business because I don't want to burn out again. So what I have been doing is attempting to balance my time between working on the script, which I am holding as the priority, and working on reestablishing systems and funnels in business so that I'm not burning myself out like I did before. And I'm holding the musical as a priority because it is very easy for me to get locked into work. Very easy. And I don't want to mistakenly get back to the place where work and my ability to work and being an entrepreneur, being a small business owner has become my identity again. Don't want to do that because my identity is locked up in the Lord Jesus Christ. And so I'm trying to maintain a balance between, I'm trying to be myself, right? And as myself, I am a creative who has a business instead of I am a business owner, right? And that is the headspace that I'm trying to maintain and I'm trying to work from as I follow him and be obedient, you know? So that's pretty much it. That's as far as I understand it right now, that is what the channel would be about. Me attempting, or not attempting, me following God and doing the things that he's placed on my heart, establishing the creative property, and trying not to be overwhelmed by the full scope of that, because yeah. And then reestablishing my business so that the business can be what it's meant to be. Like, I had always known that the business was meant to serve people as an extension of God, right? Like I understood very early that my business was a part of my ministry. My business was a part of my ministry. But what I did in that was I made it depend on me. If I wasn't present, the business wasn't operational. And that is a form of idolatry, right? It's a form of self-exaltation where I made business, God's business, dependent on me. And that doesn't give him glory. That instead glorifies me. And as the Lord has been showing humanity from ages, is that we are not meant to handle glory. We're not. And so my desire to establish the businesses in such a way that it does not depend on my capacity and does not depend on my presence is, I believe, effective and biblical stewardship. And that's gonna be the way that I handle it, the way that I think about it, the way that I build it from here on out. So that's what this channel is going to be about, that process. So I washed my hair this morning. I want my hair to dry. I'm not the most aesthetic creator. I'm probably never going to be the most aesthetic creator. My life is not very aesthetic. I'm messy and I'm awkward and I am a riot, okay? And I am very real. I don't do a whole lot of fluff. I don't do a whole lot of pretending. And so if any of this has, if any of this interests you, what is this? Oh, if any of this interests you, if any of this is something that you want to follow, hit the like and subscribe button, because it's going to be a journey. This is what we're going to be doing. Okay?